Okay, who here can really reveal themselves to the class? Anybody?
I'll go. Don't talk about me, not to class, not to anybody.
Yeah, no, of course.
Sharp on time, try not to fall asleep, everybody.
Am I hearing an accent?
No, what you mean?
How old are you?
No, I'm Greg age.
You're 19? Yeah. I just turned 14.
Wow, happy birthday. This is my movie, and this is my life. You're not Greg. You and me, we're all the same.
Oh yeah, how's that?
We both have this dream that we'll be famous.
Yeah, I guess we do.
Do it.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Lucky Dog Podcast. This is your host, Tommy Wiseau. With me today is, hi Kellie. It's so hard to do that.
Laugh about everything we say.
It's so hard
We
to
can
do.
just every time one of us says something, just be like at the end of it.
Oh my god. It's so hard to do that accent.
You did really good.
It's just like you don't move your lips that much.
What did you just make me watch?
Okay, so that's the best question. Okay, so I had a double feature this afternoon with Tommy Wiseau's 2003 The Room. Mm-hmm. I was forcing myself to watch this train wreck of a movie.
I can imagine.
But I also knew that there was going to be a complimentary movie to feature it right after, which was The Disaster Artist. So I did the double feature mashup. So I was really curious about the performance and the people that went into it. Mm-hmm. And I was blown. Okay, for this we're going to do full spoilers for The Room and Disaster Artist, just assuming that you would have Kellie has not seen it.
No.
So she's going to be the individuals that have not seen it. But since this has been out for a little bit, I want to go along with it. Just why you might be interested in this double feature length of one of the worst movies you've ever seen, followed up by one of the best movies to follow it up with. So, The Room. The Room is written and directed, produced by Tommy Wiseau, some random guy that no one knows where he came from. He says that he came from Louisiana or something like that, but with that accent.
No, that wasn't an accent. That was a speech impediment.
Okay, so that would make sense. So,
I don't think it's an accent, and if it is, then I did not mean to insult whoever's accent. That is.
Oh my goodness! I mean, throughout the Disaster Artist itself, it says there's many times they're like, what accent is that? Where are you from? All this information. You never find out that much. So the Room by far was one of the worst movies I've ever just forced myself to watch completely through.
It's
on every level.
Cringeworthy.
It's cringeworthy bad. I was saying it was like a train wreck at first, but it's even almost worse than it's like being forced to watch a train wreck. But you just can't look away once you kind of get it started. I was showing just clips and little bits of the original Room movie, bits and pieces to Kellie. What were you thinking about it? Because I knew I didn't want to. I couldn't sit through it again. That's the thing. I couldn't sit through it again, so I had to show you.
Some part of me wanted to be like, hold on, wait, let me watch this. Let me watch this whole thing.
Right.
Because it's so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kind of like Mystery Science Theater terrible. They take bad movies and make commentary over them and make jokes about them. This feels like that's what needs MST treatment.
Mystery Science Theater is hilarious.
Yeah,
like even Kyson loves watching it.
Your son.
Yeah, he wouldn't sit 2 seconds through that.
Well, the fact is there's no commentary over that. But if there,
why. That's the only. I know that's the only reason why he likes Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, absolutely. No one else likes.
I think anyone could watch that if we had like some commentary.
Absolutely, it would be so good. I'd pay extra for that.
Yeah.
So, I say the Disaster Artist complements The Room in every way possible. Like, why is The Room so bad?
That's a compliment.
It's you want to know how this train wreck happened, you know?
Yeah.
And so, the Disaster Artist is filling in the blanks of who Tommy Wiseau is, and The Room really feels like he's building it off his own life. So he's kind of like, everyone revolves around Tommy. Everyone betrays him. You betray me.
Yeah. Oh my
You betray me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You're tearing me apart.
Just like it.
No, I don't.
Don't do that.
What? She likes it.
No, you're making me uncomfortable.
Kellie, you betray me.
Stop.
Okay.
Oh, God. I'm gonna get up and leave the room.
Oh my goodness. No, you're in the room.
God.
So the original Room movie basically feels like it's it was written by Tommy Wiseau, and it just feels like he just took his own life and wrote around it. So that was the only I'd say the problematic thing with the whole movie, because he put so much of his life on the screen.
Yeah.
He was really vulnerable.
Yeah.
In the Disaster Artist, it shows how that affects him. It rounds him out as a character.
I think I see that.
Yeah. So you see how bad the negative connotations of having a bad movie could. Imagine making a 2-year movie or something like that, several month movie, and all of a sudden it's shit, and you don't know till you're watching it on screen.
How would you not know that movie was shit?
Yeah, I mean, he was putting 200% of himself into the movie, and so the only people that even showed up, there was no marketing, no nothing. The $6 million budget estimated did nothing. People in the movie knew it was bad. Yeah. He was the only one that thought it was good. People started laughing apparently when his ass was on screen and stuff like that. Like I felt genuinely bad for the guy because he really put himself out there.
Yeah.
So like you can see screenshots. Dave Franco playing Greg Sestero. He is not feeling it during the screening of his own movie. He knew that this was probably going to be Bad News Bears. Yeah. And it actually talks about in the Disaster Artist, what if this is a bad movie? No one really talks about it while it's happening, except for like 1 or 2 people. Mm-hmm. But everyone else thinks this is like a serious thing. Gotcha. So, just The Room itself is literally described as, I describe it as like, it's like a shitty softcore porno mixed with scenes from Full House's title screen, Yeah. It's just like scenes of, I think it's San Francisco is what we're seeing. Yeah. I mean, they're really nice scenes. They just don't mix and mash they don't make sense for the entire movie. Yeah. They just place random random B-roll of San Francisco throughout the entire movie. Yeah. So, terrible sex scenes. I think it was shot like a shitty porno. People will walk in and out of the movie for absolutely no reason, just like The Room, no reason. Clearly, Tommy he said maybe half his lines, and then the rest were like dubbed over. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck happened. Was he? The microphones.
It very well could have been an accent, because you saw where James Franco when he's talking to that guy's mother.
Yeah.
And he was like, Babyface, a cool guy.
Yeah.
He didn't say Babyface is a cool guy. He said Babyface.
Babyface is a cool guy.
Yeah, so that could be an accent. That doesn't have to be a speech impediment. Or that's just
I think he might be UK, plus he's just like education. I don't know. Apparently he's got a lot of money because he funded a lot of this project.
Yeah.
So, and keeping a movie in theaters is expensive. Just producing one is expensive. And the Disaster Artist goes through the behind the scenes of how Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero linked up at an improv class. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming this is how they linked up. This is all based off the movie. I'm thinking this is. They linked up. They said, "Let's go to Hollywood and let's go not join and make movies, but let's go be actors, be directors, be whatever." It was only a little bit later that they decided we're not good enough to be in the major stuff. Let's go make our own. So, the Disaster Artist really colors the background of what The Room really is. You know?
Yeah.
It kind of feels like bonus features, bonus behind the scenes features featuring famous movie stars.
I think because it's kind of the only thing that I remember you showing me, the part where Franco keeps coming in and out of the door and forgetting his lines.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like, I hit her, and they're like, no.
Yeah. I didn't hit her. What did he say?
They kept asking what is
I
the
didn't
line?
hit. Yeah. I don't remember. You betrayed me. That's the one line I can get. Or okay, so
Oh hi, Mark.
oh hi Mark. You hear him practicing the oh hi Marks. That is hilarious. How many times can you say oh hi Mark?
Yeah.
And how do you fuck it up anyways?
Bark.
Yeah. Oh hi Bark.
Nah.
What's up, P-Bud? Yeah. So the Room. It was so shitty that you just couldn't look away.
Yeah.
Like
I kind of do want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, after watching the Disaster Artist, I can think about looking retroactively back at The Room and giving it just a little bit more credit because I feel like I saw their lives before, you know? Yeah. Although it was Dave Franco and James Franco, it really felt like they portrayed those individuals.
Yeah.
And I had heard that some people said, "Oh, that's James Franco in a wig acting. It's a Tommy Wiseau impression." I felt like he did a hell of a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you didn't see the entire movie. I showed Kellie clips of The Room and then clips of the Disaster Artist just to get her, squared up with what we're talking about. But
to see just enough so I can talk about it.
Yeah, just enough. But what do you think? Do you think he portrayed him decently, or
yeah?
How do you think?
I thought just from what I saw when they did the comparison at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What the Lisa you're
that wasn't just an impression. Like he was completely like in character for that dude. I thought.
So apparently James Franco directed this entire movie acting like Tommy Wiseau.
Directing his own movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it's called method acting, but it's extremely difficult. And like I don't know, Daniel Day-Lewis, the guy that played Abraham Lincoln most recently, he just retired. He method acts as well. So when he gets in character, he completely gets in character for the entire. I'm assuming the entire length of filming. Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure Heath Ledger, the guy that played the Joker, that passed away. I'm pretty sure he did method acting for the Joker role. Of course, sometimes they might just say that so that they say, "Oh, the hype for the movie's that real. He can't stop acting like the Joker off screen, or he can't stop acting like Tommy Wiseau, so he's directing like Tommy Wiseau." So, it blows my mind that this movie was that good, with him acting like Tommy Wiseau.
It was it was a lot better than watching The Room.
Oh my goodness, it is leaps and bounds better. So, the cool thing about the Disaster Artist is that it takes notice of little things about The Room. So like I said, clips of San Francisco and stuff like that. They would show clips of San Francisco in the Disaster Artist, but not just randomly place it throughout the entire length of the movie. They would place it so that they're having a conversation looking out at the city or something like that. So they linked in parts of the original Room movie. Like they would, instead of just randomly placing scenes in there, they would put use to it. And so in the original Room movie, they play football for absolutely no fucking reason, just all the fucking time. Just you saw them like playing on the roof, playing playing in tuxes at one point. Yeah. That's introduction of the third act. It just they're playing football for no reasons at all. Gotcha. And so the Disaster Artist takes note of that, and they actually do a couple of football scenes as well. And the way that the Disaster Artist took detail to that, I thought was just hilarious. You know, it took every little nuance that shitty movie had, and they just blew it up to make it make sense. Yeah. And so the themes through the Room still run through the Disaster Artist, even though it's kind of more behind the scenes.
Dude, Dave Franco.
What you got to say? Oh.
I love some Dave Franco. I'm not that fond of that one.
James?
Yeah. I like Dave.
Oh, you were Dave. Team Dave?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I think that actually, I have heard some problematic things about Mr. Franco, the older Franco, recently, so it might be a Dave world from here on. Yeah. So, I really hope that stuff's not true, but this movie is giving me more respect.
think that because they look so much alike, they're both very attractive. But I feel like James has played, other than The Deuce or whatever. Mm-hmm. I know he's played other roles, other movies or whatever. But what I remember seeing him in, where I kind of got my impression of, I don't like him.
What was it?
He always plays like kind of a dumb character.
Pineapple?
Yeah.
Express?
Pineapple Express. There's another one. I thought.
Your Highness, maybe?
I don't know.
He does a couple with Seth Rogen that weren't so good. This Is the End was kind of like eh.
Yeah, so I don't like his
portrayals.
I don't like his acting when he's acting
goofy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
think I personally really enjoy Pineapple Express, but also I think that he it might have taken him. Well, there's other movies than Pineapple Express. I need to show you 127 Hours, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. He plays a mountain biker that gets stuck in the Grand Canyon or something like that. Yeah. And it's insane. It's his movie. There's no one else really in the movie. Yeah. And he carries it the entire time. I'd say it's an amazing movie. Really? I would say one of my more favorite movies, just that are like solo in one condensed area. Yeah. But he does well, and that's when I realized he could actually act, other than Pineapple Express. He can play, slow and dumb and hi, Mom.
His brother does that too. His brother plays this kind of a dumber character.
Dave plays a great dumb character.
What was it with Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn.
He was in a movie with Vince Vaughn.
21 Jump Street. No, not Vince Vaughn, but he was in 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, he was in 21 Jump Street. No, shit. I'm like drawing a blank and it makes me mad.
He was in Neighbors, Now You See Me. What you looking for? Was it recent?
It's a few years
ago. It was
Unfinished Business.
Unfinished Business. I did not see that. Was it good? Was this a comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's fucking hilarious, I think.
Okay, well.
I liked it.
It has a 5.4 on IMDb, so that's a little suspect. Oh. But, well, if it has Vince Vaughn and Dave Franco, it's got to be something.
It was funny.
Okay, so well, I think Dave has wide range, and this disaster artist really lets him shine. Um, he plays Greg Sestero, I think, pretty well, because I think the original guy you see in the movie, he is pretty stilted, and he kind of just looks like a pretty boy that doesn't really talk that much. I mean, I know you didn't get to see too many scenes with Greg in it, but you saw him on the rooftop. It sounds boring as a board.
Yeah.
Just Dave does a really great job playing shy and timid, like Greg did, like Greg was. But overall, the portrayals between the two brothers for the two characters I thought were spot on.
Yeah.
And it really fleshes out the original room. That's what really the connection they have makes me retroactively want to take a look at the room and to see what kind of relationship they had playing each other in the room. And you see Tommy's Planet. They say he has a pen that says Tommy's Planet. And there's actually a scene where they get in a scuffle or something like that in the room, and he's like, "What do you think this is? This your world?" Or he says, "What planet are you on, Tommy?" And you see, it's just like little things like that. Like they know, they paid attention, and they looked at the script, whatever script there was of the room.
Yeah.
What planet are you on, man? So I'm pretty sure that didn't exist until after they were looking at it, like little pins that said Tommy's Planet and that connected to the room. I'm sure that they don't actually have that. I'm sure they might now though.
Yeah. Turned it into something.
Oh yeah. That's what this movie did. And if the room was already a cult classic, so the disaster artist was overall what the room needed. So the original room was a cult following, which means it had a very small fan base. But there was a lot of people. They were loud. They were like, this is so bad it's good kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think this disaster artist has started something that makes maybe other bad movies could be retroactively good.
Yeah.
If it just gives it a little bit more light to it. But I thought the disaster artist was already much more diverse. I don't think there was anyone of color in the room. The disaster artist was hilarious.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be as funny as it was. I guess because when I was originally watching,
Did you think it was gonna be like kind of?
I thought just more drama.
Yeah.
Just more serious.
Yeah.
And there are parts of seriousness, but the relationship between the brothers and the way they play the Tommy character and the Greg character are just so well. It makes it interesting and gives it chemistry that the original movie never had.
Yeah.
So I thought the soundtrack for The Room was something straight out of like Nintendo, like main menu game screen. It's like a beginning music. It was like the Wii music, or it's like Zelda or something like that. It's like some flute music and some other just weird shit, just very odd choices of music for The Room, and none of it matched, and it was all just very cliche and bad. It was just bad. So I thought the disaster artist was everything the opposite The Room was with the soundtrack.
Kind of made up for everything.
Oh my Jesus, they had hype ass music. They had the rhythm of the night.
That was in the other one too, though, right?
It was not in The Room. That was they didn't have the budget for that song. I don't even think I don't think that was in the I don't even think that song was created by then. But there are a couple of songs they do play throughout the disaster artist that I think did have to pertain to the 2002-2003 time.
Yeah.
So I think they try to stay within that, with the exception of Rhythm of the Night.
Did you see what Tommy Wiseau was wearing whenever he was like going to like see his movie? I guess
An oversized tux.
Oh, no.
Which
He was wearing like studded shit hanging off of his clothes and like belts and stuff.
Oh, he's all about the belts. he makes a fashion statement with his belts.
It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what his fashion statement is, or like what he decides to do, what his thinking is, because I mean, there's even a part in The Disaster Artist where he's like just grabbing random clothes off the shelf to go jump in a scene.
What is this? What's in all these boxes?
This is like the promotional stuff that you have for movies. Normally, you don't carry it in yourself, though.
Here's all our T-shirts, guys.
Yeah. So when they're going to the premiere, they have all the premiere stuff, and he goes by the premiere, and they're like, "Is that Tommy?" And he's like, "Go, go, 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 go!"
Why?
Because he says you got to make it hype. You got to give him like a grand interest or something like that.
God.
And so when he comes back, he's like, "Oh, that was terrible traffic," and they were like, "We just saw you."
Oh my god.
Yeah, but no one says that, but
Did that really happen in the room?
I don't. Not in the actual room. No, in the actual room, there's not a movie being made.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it is the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's pretty hilarious at the. Well, it's not hilarious. Let's talk about the very end, how the premiere goes. Since I've watched it, I know exactly how it goes. He wants to make a grand entrance. This is his big time to shine. He wants to milk it up for all he can. And then when everyone gets in there and starts watching the movie, they slowly realize how bad this movie is.
Oh.
And you start to see everyone's reaction. And then, like I said, when his ass comes on screen, people start laughing.
Oh.
And there are long sex scenes, like long painful sex scenes that are not fun to watch at all. Like makes 50 Shades look like something Oscar worthy or something. It's something crazy. I don't know. Just the way the audience transitions from disliking the movie midway while they're watching it to liking it is what makes this movie work, because everyone's like, this is really bad. They start laughing at it, and they start laughing at it so hysterically that it's effective. So Tommy walks out of his own I don't know if this actually happened, but in The Disaster Artist, Tommy walks out of his own theater while it's premiering, because he thinks that they hate it. And it's Dave Franco's character, Greg Sestero, that brings him to light that there's no other movies that could bring, this kind of intense hysteria to any crowd, Yeah. Your movie was so bad it's good.
Yeah.
And it really does take a second for James Franco to realize, or not James Franco, Tommy Wiseau to realize in The Disaster Artist, that his movie is effective on some level. But I really am curious what Tommy Wiseau was thinking during his own screening.
Yeah.
I heard that I heard that it was like kind of rough. I don't know if people started laughing and whatnot, but what Greg did by bringing Tommy back in to the fold, showing him, his movie does have some sort of fuel, some sort of merit, that it works. And honestly, hell, we're here talking about it now. So Tommy Wiseau's film has done something, right?
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
I mean, it's spiked your interest enough, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure.
I would say
The Francos.
The Francos sparked my interest enough for me to go back and watch Tommy Wiseau's movie.
Yes. Which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's almost two different parties, but they're talking about the same story.
Yeah.
And shedding light, given that they're younger than they were in the actual movie. That they're playing themselves younger.
Yeah.
But Greg really sells it. Dave really sells it into The Disaster Artist. I think that the saving grace of The Disaster Artist was the combination of both of the brothers. I don't think Franco could have done this without his younger brother.
Yeah.
I can't even think anyone off the top of my head that could play Greg Sestero. I can think of plenty of good-looking models, like actors, right off the top of my head, but none that could play as good as Dave.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's really going to put some... have some people check this movie out. At least The Disaster Artist.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of think if you watch a little bit of The Disaster Artist, when you're finished, at least you have to go watch
How bad.
The Room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would rather watch the first one first.
I would recommend it. If anyone is already in this and is deciding they haven't even watched it yet, watch The Room. If you can't get through it, just skip through some scenes. Just play it in the background. It's a background watch, really, because I tried. I was forcing myself, like, I was like, you're gonna watch this shit, because, like, I was like, and you're gonna like it. No, I was like,
Oh my God.
no, I literally, it took me 2 views. You know, I started the first 30 minutes, I think, a day ago, and then I was like, this is so bad. This is so bad. This sex scene is not even. It's so bad, and I was like, I gotta finish it. It's worth to me to finish it. You know, it's worth it. It's worth more to finish it than not to at this point. And so I actually kind of got a little bit. I started to like it just a tad bit when I was watching it in today. Well, I was like, this guy is so ridiculous. He is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And knowing that The Disaster Artist was coming up right after, I was like, this is gonna be awesome. Because the first 20 to 30 minutes, you realize that The Disaster Artist is fixing everything The Room fucked up. Yeah. Or didn't, you know. Or it didn't fuck up, it just didn't have. So, it's a good, fun story, I would say, for the making of The Room, not the actual Room. The Room's not a fun story. There's no story. There's no plot. There's hardly any plot. There's no story. There's terrible editing. You know, it's the worst movie I've ever seen. Yeah. But it's worth watching if you think you can make it to The Disaster Artist, because The Disaster Artist does everything in its power to make it better. Yeah. Even how can you make it worse? Yeah. Yes. So just take that into it. Take that to the bank, you know. Yeah. If you're gonna do it, just sign up for the full 4-hour premiere. Try to watch. Well, it's not 4 hours total. I'd say it's 2 hours. It's both of them about an hour and a half to hour 45. So shy of 4 hours, but still. Yeah. I made it. I'm living.
You did it.
I did it.
I didn't.
You see, I feel like I accomplished something big today. Yeah. I didn't do much, but
God.
I feel like I made it though. I'm sure many people haven't made it across.
Probably not.
Yeah, so I would say that this.
I mean, it's painful almost.
It's a painful watch, right?
It is.
But it's so bad it almost takes a look. Yes, so
not so bad it's good. I'm not gonna say that it's good. It's so bad that you can't stop watching it.
It's so bad that you need to make another movie to show you how bad it was.
Yeah.
But you know what? I hope that Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau are doing really well now. You know, they're. I looked at some of their filmography after, and it's not done much, not gone far. But I hope the Disaster Artist gives them a little bit of light, because all they're told in apparently the Disaster Artist does show how hard it was to get in the movie industry. They're like, no, hell no. They're like, no in a billion years, no in the afterlife, no ever. Yes. Aww. Yeah, he's like, no forever.
Forever.
Yeah, he said no in the afterlife. I was like, damn.
Forever.
I was like, damn. So
Who said that?
It was one of the agents that Tommy Wiseau was trying to like. Yeah, he's like, no forever, even in the afterlife. He's like, you betray me. Lisa, you're tearing me apart. You're tearing me apart. You said.
Don't do it.
So the accent is contagious. The accent and
I mean,
the lines.
I mean, I think that is an accent, but that's also a fucking speech impediment, man.
Right.
Like, I don't care what
See,
anyone says.
people are probably making fun of someone with a speech impediment, but unless you're, enlightening with them, which is what I say I am. I'm not saying I'm making fun of them because you're tearing me apart, Lisa. That's not a good one. Yeah, they have famous movie stars at the beginning of The Disaster Artist telling how crazy good The Room was and how they wish they would have been on set and just there to witness the magic.
Magic made.
I don't know about that magic, but it was a ride. I'll tell you, it was a ride. I'm glad I did it. That's what I'm gonna say. And
I want to watch it.
I know, right? I mean, that's the point. I do podcasts because I watch so much media. I can't recommend it to enough people, so
Yeah.
check out the podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a unique ride,
Yeah.
because
I can see that.
there's not many types of media where you're going from such it almost feels like a television movie medium to such a high budget movie, to high budget, Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
Now this was made by A24, the same people that made the Florida Project.
Yeah.
They film they help produce indie movies, which is, I guess this is what this is. I'm not sure how expensive The Disaster Artist was, but the budget for The Room was approximately $6 million, and I have absolutely no fucking idea where that money went because I did not see that on the screen.
It didn't look like any of that. It didn't look like that would have was a $6 million movie.
Yeah. It just as a.
Holy shit.
Oh my goodness! No way! No way! Oh my goodness! So we apparently.
It took four more.
Yeah. So for
$4 million more to recreate a shitty movie.
Yeah. So they created The Disaster Artist for a $10 million budget, which, if that's true, is incredible. I thought just visually it was stunning. I thought it they did a great job. Just the land, the cinematography, the colors and stuff like that. I know you didn't get to see too much of The Disaster Artist. I showed you a lot more of The Room, but there's just shots in there that stuck with me. I'm still thinking about a couple of shots that they had specifically of them with the city in the background. Some of them while they're just talking at a diner or something like that.
Yeah.
Just very simple shots that worked really well. That shows that you don't need to put $300 million into a superhero movie or something like that to make it good. This could have easily been this was a superhero movie with a director, a failing director. That's what I call it.
A superhero movie?
I would say he's a superhero in his own right. Not like he's saving the world. It's more or less he's saving himself. And it's he's his own superhero. Is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
The world's his bad guy.
Okay.
Is the bad guy, and he's just trying to save it from the best. I don't know. What I'm just saying. All right, from a budget standpoint, you don't need to throw a lot of money into it to make it a good movie. The Room was already way over budgeted, I guess, with $6 million and bringing in $2,000, I think, total. I'm not sure what the total was for box office for The Disaster Artist was $30 million. So he tripled his budget. So they knew what they were doing. And they also had big actors, but they used them very minimally. You see Seth Rogen and Zac Efron, big actors. Like, these guys were hilarious, and they're in it for maybe a split second. And that's how you micro budget.
Seth Rogen's hilarious in everything he's in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He actually wasn't the funniest part of this movie, which was, or he didn't even take up the most screen time. You know, normally it's, you know, I don't know what that was. What is his laugh? Do his laugh.
Is that Rogan?
Yeah.
I don't
remember.
his laugh.
He has kind of like, you know, that funny laugh. I don't know. He's normally always giggling it up or something like that, but most of his screen presence was silent. It was most of him just giving funny reaction shots to what James Franco was doing as Tommy Wiseau, and it was gold. Like, you're fucking up, man. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you shot yourself and you're already alive again? Like, he's like, just hilarious. It's hilarious. But yeah, I would say Disaster Artist. Pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
Are you gonna probably check out The Room to enlighten yourself on
I want to watch it. I mean, I definitely want to see it.
Oh, hi, Lisa. Oh, hi, Mark.
I don't want to make fun of him.
You're not making fun of them. It's not making fun of them if you're with them. And I think we're with them. I think the fact that we're telling people to go watch his movie is saying we're with them. Now, I did shit on it the first 30 minutes, which was the majority of the beginning.
Yeah.
But
And when you text me and you're like, I just watched the worst movie of my entire life.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
well, that's got to be a pretty shitty movie.
Yeah, it was. It absolutely was. But having the Disaster Artist to swoop right in to carry you through, it was phenomenal. It was such a save.
I thought for sure that 50 Shades was the worst movie of your entire life.
I thought it was too. I had never seen such a...
God, so it's not?
It makes some of the Mystery Science Theaters look a lot more competent. And there's... I mean, so does 50 Shades a little bit, but I'm not recommending those movies.
You wouldn't recommend Mystery Science?
Oh, I would... Well, without the commentary of those, I wouldn't recommend them. But Mystery Science Theater, I would totally. So we're gonna finish up here. Be sure to rate, subscribe, 5 stars.
Follow on Twitter.
Lucky Dog Podcast. Email us at TheLuckyDogPodcast@gmail.com.
Facebook.
Join the Lucky Dog Media Facebook page. Join on there, get all the updates, get all the podcast updates, get some new information, stay up to date. You have anything?
Nothing
to add. We have Human Season 2 coming down the pipeline as well. I probably will put this after Humans, so we'll have Humans out probably before we put this out. So yeah, we got loads more content coming out.
Yay!
Everyone, thank you. Loads more. Loads more. Oh, hi, Mark. You betray me.
You betray me. I can't do that accent.
No,
I can't.
What accent are you doing? I don't know.
You do a good job.
I need to listen to it a few more times to get the accent down.
You definitely got the hair.
Oh no, we're not gonna talk about that.
Start calling you Tommy.
No, it made me self-conscious about my hair. I was like, I gotta get a haircut now.
No.
I gotta get a haircut now. I got a promotion coming. Oh no, it didn't.
I'm gonna start calling you Tommy.
No. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start talking like him if you do. And I'm gonna wake up and be like, oh hi, Mom. Oh hi, Lisa. You're tearing me apart. It's kind of scary how easy it is to do that
This
accent.
is my movie.
I wonder if
For you.
And this is my life.
I don't feel like it's that difficult. I do terrible accents. I don't think it was that
You
difficult.
know me, we are all the same. Oh,
It's
yeah,
not-
How's that?
Speech
We
impediment.
both have this dream.
Oh yeah,
we'll be
you think that's
friends.
hilarious? You think that's real hilarious? Oh, that's it.
You have a malevolent presence. You are a perfect villain.
I could see you as
All right, y'all.
Dracula,
Thank you for listening.
Frankenstein. I'm not Frankenstein. I am hero.
Why give them job? I give them salary. I'll just spend $5 million on this movie, Greg.
Are you kidding me? $5 million?
And they are not grateful. Nobody respects my vision.
Where were you born, Tommy?
Greg, that's not part of the scene.
You want an easier question? Where does the money come from, huh?
Stop, this is on camera.
I know it's on camera just like you want it.
I do this whole movie for you, Greg.
Can we just take it again? Try to lose the accent.
The rules to the club are simple. And the guard, let me forward with dog.